joined now by Coach Bobby Hauck, the UNLV Rebels. Now, tell us about the class, 20 kids. Pretty pleased?
Really pleased, Seat. I think, a couple things. These are good guys, a lot of character, really solid people, good families, which is going to lend itself to them having success off the field in the classroom, but great potential on the field. If you look at the frames of these guys, the 40 times the speed, all the things that there's great raw material in the high school kids in this class, and then with the junior college guys, I really think that we've got guys that can come in and have an impact.
Jared Leibowitz, one quarterback. Tell us his story. He started in Vermont and then relocated to California.
Yeah, he went his first couple of years of high school in South Burlington, Vermont. He didn't feel like he was ever going to get noticed by college football programs up there, so he came to California and played for Jim Bonds at St. Francis High School, who's an old friend of ours. And as soon as we really kind of started recruiting him in early January, he rose quickly to the top of our list, and really feel good about him.
You got two local recruits, and one in particular, Devontae Boyd from Basic High School, a pretty good receiver. You're really high on this one.
Well, really high on our local guys. We really want to bang the local high schools as hard as we can, and try to keep the local guys home. And we're really grateful for those two kids, both Devontae and Nico, for staying with us and wanting to represent their hometown and their home state at UNLV. And we think they've got really bright futures here, and they feel really strongly about playing in their hometown.
Keith Whiteley, a young man you got after he verbally committed. I guess West Virginia, Georgia Tech, they start coming from everywhere trying to get this kid.
Yeah, Keith had some schools that came after him hard from some major conferences, and as I said in the press conference, I think we all ought to be grateful to him for being a guy with that kind of character and to be a man of his word and not just flip-flop around like you see some kids do, and really impressed with him in that regard.
And he's a running back. Now tell us about the young man from the island.
Yeah, Malo is an impressive kid. He's from American Samoa. He'd never been off of out of Pago Pago, and he came here on his recruiting visit. Never been on an airplane before. He came to Vegas, and now he thinks that Las Vegas is what the rest of the country looks like. He thinks that's what the mainland is. So he fell in love with it, committed to us on his visit, and we're going to be excited to have him for a lot of reasons. One, he's a good guy, and two, he's going to be a really good player.
And you think he's going to be an impact player right off the bat?
I do. I think physically he's ready to compete. So as soon as he can pick up the scheme on defense and be able to play fast, really cut it loose, then he's going to be on the field.
7 JUCO transfers. Tell us about that class.
Well, we feel like we filled some needs where we were thin in our depth, wide receiver, defensive line, offensive line. Feel good about those guys. If you don't recruit JCs to come, you don't recruit them to come in and provide depth. You come in and expect them to compete for playing time, and I think every one of these kids will, and really fired up about them. Most of them are good students. They get what we're trying to accomplish, and I think they're going to be a good addition to our team.
Which area would you say you've strengthened the most on the roster?
Well, I think the defensive line. That's where we've taken the most JC players.
You went with size too.
Yeah, we did. We had some big guys inside. We have to be able to hold up, and we're finally getting to the point where we've got some juniors and seniors that are in our two deep, and I think by doing that we give our defense a chance.
How much pressure is there while you're recruiting? I mean, when it's done, are you like, can you exhale, or is it like, what's the feeling? I mean, because there's got to be pressure. You're dealing with other schools trying to get the same product you're trying to pick.
Yeah, it's kind of like New Year's Eve a little bit for coaches, man. It's the start of our new year. Signing day is a really good day. This was fairly calm for us. There wasn't a whole bunch of jumping around or any of that down the stretch here. But, in terms of the pressure, there's pressure in recruiting. But this is Vegas. You got to always remember, scared money never wins. So you got to be confident in what you're doing, and if you're confident in what's going on, your players that are hosting these kids are confident in what's going on and are believers. Then you got a good chance to get guys because they'll buy into it too. And these kids bought into it, and they had almost every kid on this list had a lot of choices, not just one or two more. They had a lot of choices, and they chose UNLV.
What's your big sell when you walk into a kid's house?
It's funny. We try to sell them a couple things. One, that we believe this is a great place to live, And the only thing we really promise them is a bunch of hard work and fun doing it. We're pretty simple.
Always a pleasure, Coach. We'll be rooting.
Thanks, Seat. Good to see you.